Hello, everyone. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and here in Discord. Louis, can you hear me on Discord?
Let me check for a sec.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Because we have some problems on Discord, and I'm not sure why. If people can hear me or not on Discord. So let's see. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Feel free also to join on stage if you want. Louis and Jim.
Looks like I have to be added to the stage to join in.
Do you find a hand on the bottom?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'll request.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. Hey, Ventron, Gate Remark, welcome. Can you hear me? Yes, twice. Louis.
Okay. Said no audio.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any of your audio on Discord, Mark, just mine.
Okay, feel free to add me now again.
Yes.
You just need to go to the chat on the right and accept invite to speak.
Cool.
Thank you.
There we go.
Fantastic. I think we are good now on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Discord. It's always a bit mess to do all of these interconnections, but I think we made it happen. Okay, so we are again here on Edge Impulse Hackathon AMA session. So ask us anything, any problem, any issue, any idea that you want to share with us. Because we are organizing during this November the Global Virtual Hackathon here at Edge Impulse. Are you excited to see the submissions, Louis and Jim?
Yeah, definitely. I'm particularly excited to see we've got loads of students joining this time. We have a special prize for students, $3,000. So I'm really excited to see what our kind of younger cohort manages to create. I know when I was a student, I had lots more free time to do this kind of fun stuff like hackathons. So I'm excited to see what they manage to do with all of that.
Absolutely, yeah, and not only students. Looking forward to see what anyone does. But that's right. I think a lot. Yeah, probably a lot of students don't know about it. And if you are a student, $3,000. It's not a lot price, right? And probably we will have more surprises as well for people as we are organizing new things for 2026. So I'm sure that the people who will get interesting or submit interesting projects will get like new surprises. And of course, I'm sure that we can send swag and hardware and so on. So yeah, it's a super exciting hackathon, at least, to be part of. So today, we wanted to check again a little bit, as it's first time that we do it during India or more friendly India and Europe, Africa, Asia time zone. We wanted to do a little bit of reading about the hackathon, and feel free actually to ask your ideas or ask your questions on the chat if you have any. So let me share my screen actually on YouTube and LinkedIn and Jim. I'm not sure if you can share your screen on Discord.
Yeah, let me just grant.
So you can. Yeah, sure, no rush. So I'm sharing this URL. Give me a sec. I will put it everywhere on the chat. Okay, you're back, Jim.
My screen. Let's do this one.
Fantastic.
Okay,
thank
there
you.
We go.
You can see us twice, but that's the live stream from YouTube and LinkedIn. I think it's a good idea to share from there. This is the website. I share the URL on the chats, and basically our hackathon is managed by Hacker, so they're our partners for the hackathon. And here we explain basically what's about the hackathon. Basically, we challenge anyone who wants to basically apply innovation, apply creativity on building basically edge AI applications from the model point of view and or the edge AI application point of view, as we are going to explain, as we have two tracks, basically, two themes. So the first one is edge AI application track, which we challenge you to build a specific edge AI application running on embedded hardware. Can be from Arduinos to GPU devices, from microcontrollers to GPU devices, and you can use whatever you have. Or even, we had a discussion last Monday that even if you don't have any hardware, but you have a good idea for an edge AI application, you can use your PC or your laptop as a hardware. So that's even possible. The most important thing is that you document well your project. And the second track, and this is what we wanted to focus today, as we have experts on model development, it's a model development track. So we challenge people here to design and optimize machine learning models for audio, for time series sensors, or for vision. And basically, try to create a model, a machine learning model, using Edge Impulse or using other tools, but finally deploying on Edge Impulse to basically create this foundational machine learning model that can enable other developers to create Edge AI applications. Okay, maybe Louis, would you like to share more? I'm not sure if your audio is ready or not. I saw you.
I'm not sure. I think I'm still struggling a bit with my audio.
Okay,
but
no,
sure.
I can hear you well.
Okay, so if you can hear me well, that's good. When we thought about that this developer contest, we initially thought about like two tracks. One was to show a real application, like could represent a real use case, and the other one was more to show project that can guide users on how to get better with Edge AI, or at least the AI part itself, while optimizing it for the edge. So this can be either through optimizing the dataset, scope it very well for your use case. It can be through going to different techniques, either on the post-processing or on the post-processing, that can either save a lot of RAM, a lot of model size, etc. And what we expect in here is to track the different experiments. Maybe your first approach has gone wrong. This doesn't really matter. Like we often go that way. So what are we expecting is to at least explain to the audience or in your project why this has not worked and why the other method is better.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Yeah, to see this all documented. This is very important. That's very important. So what do you think people who maybe don't have a lot of experience creating models, machine learning models, need to take into account when they want to participate on this model development track?
So that's a good question. Actually, when I started like working with AI projects, etc., I noticed that I was way more creative than what I am now. I tested some stuff that did not really make sense, but at some point, some of the stuff made sense. So you might think like, oh, okay, I'm using images. Well, I'm coming from the IoT world, and especially like LP1, where you need to optimize every single piece of transmission. And even like back in the internet days, like you had to optimize like every single request. And I think now the Edge AI part, we need to optimize the way we extract at least features from the raw data to then pass that to the neural network. And in that case, like your model will be highly optimized if the feature that you pass are already optimized, because the complexity of your neural network will be way smaller than if you have a huge model trying to analyze like a 1024 pixel by 1024. Sometimes you can get the same accuracy, or at least the same the accuracy for your use case using way smaller images. Sometimes you don't even need to have all the raw pixels. Like I was sharing that with the team just before, like back in I think it was in 2021. I worked on a project only using some canny filters, so basically the contours of the person. So, and yeah, that's the project that Mark is currently sharing. So, for example, to detect a car, only having the edges of the car is enough. So this technique is not super well used in the field, because now we have huge GPUs, and especially all the transfer learning techniques that you could leverage that fasten the project, obviously, but those are not trained on or pre-trained on canny filters. So this, for example, could be a technique that highly optimized the way you simplify the neural network, the complexity of it.
I'd like to add to that, actually. I was talking to someone the other day about a project where it doesn't just apply to images, this simplification. Sometimes you can think about your use case in its entirety, and you might have an idea for how it should be implemented with a particular kind of sensor, whether it's an image sensor or a microphone. But actually, it could be just as easily implemented with a much simpler sensor. So, for example, if you're trying to detect a fault in something based on audio data because you can hear the problem, that problem is also probably present in vibration data if you mounted your sensor directly on the device, for example. So it's always worth thinking not just about the virtual world or the data that you have, but also about how you collect the data. Are there other ways you can collect the data that means that you require less of it? Or are there other ways that reduce the complexity of the problem? That's often an approach we take when we're trying to develop really efficient edge applications. Because if you can simplify in the real world, it makes creating your model a lot simpler in the future.
And that's actually a good point. Sometimes when a model is simpler, to reach the same accuracy, you would need much more data. Data that could be a bit diverse, or sometimes like you need to constrain your use case to a very scoped application. And this is these are the kind of inputs or guidance that we expect to see in your project, so we can at least reproduce, or not only us, but also like why we created this developer contest is to create some content for the entire community. So we need some people to be able to reproduce it by reading your guidelines, and this will make a strong, like a documented project.
I often find with these sorts of projects, it's better to prove something small in a kind of complete way than it is to try and boil the ocean and have a very complex problem that is maybe not so accurate or not so impressive. Talking about the future of your project is almost as interesting as if you complete a small scoped version of the project and think about where it could go next. I find that very compelling rather than trying to go all the way to the end in one go.
Yeah, I think that it's, to me, the key of this as well. It's to find a problem, right, and try to find a solution or the way to solve that problem that you have, right, with machine learning. I think if someone can share that, document that well, and basically create a model that can help others to create applications, a GA application at the top of that model, I think that's super key. So that's very good. Yeah,
Jim, maybe you want to, so I'm not exactly sure when are we going to release the bring your own model freeform, but this will also remove one of the biggest barrier that we had in Edge Impulse. It was the structure of the output layers, or at least the output. So if Jim, you have any idea on the ETA, I think that would be also open new use cases if you're already working on a project that has an output form that we don't support or currently don't support. this could be supported in the very near future.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be out in the next week or so, and I can go and shimmy that along if we like. Mark, actually, you could probably pull up the docs page. It's live now. I'll share you the link. We could have a little look at that. Let me see.
Yes, and
it's image upscaling. Here we go. Let me share it in the chat.
So actually, before we go there, today I discovered the datasets page on the docs. And maybe we can go later. But let's go here. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a little example that's been enabled by this new feature that's about to be released, which is the free-form model outputs for Bring Your Own Model. So as Louis mentioned previously, we only supported the outputs of your model being classification. So is it this, this, or this? Object detection, which is obviously bounding boxes plus a classification. Regression, so looking at a number output, a single numerical output, or anomaly detection. But what we're looking at now is opening up the framework behind Edge Impulse so it works with any arbitrary outputs. So this example that we have in the docs in front of us is taking a pre-trained model from Qualcomm's AI Hub, but you could take a pre-trained model from most places for image super resolution. So this takes in an image of a low resolution and then gives you out an image that's a much higher resolution. That's something that we've not previously been able to do, but this kind of use case is then really cool because we can then use Edge Impulse's compilation process to compile this model and deploy it onto any edge device. And it starts to be useful when you start to chain together these different types of models. This can be a really useful input, for example, into an object detection model, or it could be a really useful input into another thing. It could also be really cool. There are models out there for like audio denoising. So this could be a step before you pass to a keyword detection model or a fault detection model that works on audio, removing background noise so that you can then do the actual detection. So there's a whole load of new use cases that are going to be opened up by this particular advanced use case or advanced way of importing models. Hopefully this will be live very soon. You can start to have a sneak preview by looking through some of the documentation. It's just some final tweaks that we're making. But yeah, this is going to be really cool. It'll make the basis of some features in the future in Edge Impulse Studio proper that will enable some really interesting use cases. So yeah, if you have a model idea that might add into this, so say you have an example use case in your head for how you could use an image super resolution model as part of a model chain, or a denoising model as part of a model chain, that could be a really interesting use case to explore. We'd love to see some of that.
That's very cool. We have a question in the Discord chat. Let's go to that question, if that makes sense. So Gateremark mentions that wants to address to the jobs limit issue on Edge Impulse Studio. In case I want to train a model using Edge Impulse and might possibly have a very large data set. So what's your recommendation in this case?
Yeah. So we have a job limit for a reason. If you have a large or at least very large data set and you want to train a model, we by default limit the job limits to 60 or to an hour, 60 minutes or an hour per job per person, which we found is way than enough for time series data. I do understand that it can be constraining for image models. But in that case, you should train your model locally and then import that model to Edge Impulse later, and not train the full thing.
Okay. Any recommendation where to train that model or how to do it?
I mean, like this is a kind of a classic machine learning, like with a Jupyter notebook or with a Python script.
Fantastic.
And the reason is, so we won't be able to enlarge the compute time per each of the participants in the in the developer contest. And if we do that for only a few percent, like it kind of creates some imbalance in between all the different participants. So when we created that developer contest, we need to stay within the community tier limit.
One thing
Absolutely.
I'd add to this
Go
is
ahead.
the edge is an inherently constrained space. So this compute limit is also there to kind of help guide you to creating a really efficient model, because generally edge models, if they're smaller, take less time to train. So for sort of time series models, audio models, 60 minutes is going to be more than enough to train any use case that would ever be deployable on the edge. With images, obviously, it changes a little bit with the compute requirements. But we're really interested to see how you harness those constraints to make something really efficient and edge friendly.
Mm-hmm. And
exactly.
Most of the time, also what we see with prospects and customers is usually when you have a very big data set that is very diverse, it means that for example, for self-driving cars or things like that, this is adapted to the edge, but for like really high-end edge. If you think of, you can sometimes, well, most of the time, you can rethink your constraint and you can scope the use case. And in that case, you would need much less data. And we always, so you can try with only a small portion of that data set. And then if you see that that small portion of the data set works, then you can collect some more data, but that are highly adapted to your use case.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and my recommendation, it's bright in the documentation, right? All your tests, try, just share everything, write down everything, explain that if you're on images, for example, and your dataset is larger enough to use Edge Impulse Studio with the 1 hour restriction of computation, explain why do you need more. Try other ideas like the one that we shared before, Louis shared in this old blog post. Can you use other techniques to reduce that time? It's we are happy to learn the innovation and creativity that you apply to try to fit into those. And if not, you can use other techniques and just bring your own model into Edge Impulse Studio later on. And it's possible actually to publish, right, a project on Edge Impulse Studio with a bring your own model, right, Louis?
Say that again, sorry. I was reading the question from.
Sorry, I didn't read anything. No. That I say that if you build, if you train a model outside Edge Impulse Studio, it's possible to publish the project, right, later on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that's not a problem.
Yeah. So going back to maybe the second question of Getter Mark, how do I confirm that I am a student while submitting the project, since there is no field to select that I am a student on the Hackathon page submission? That's a good question, Mark. Maybe you want to cover that up?
That's a good question. Should we add a checkbox or something, I'm a student, or should we force students to sign up just with the educational domains? We are now thinking aloud here.
I think we need to verify at some point. So we would need to have students signing up with an educational email, and we can add a checkbox so we can easily verify.
So let's do that. So we can add. Let me take the notes. We can add the checkbox, but we need that students just sign up with their university or school email.
I know for some countries it's fairly easy. Like in the US, it's .edu, and in the UK, it's .ac.uk. India, it's also easy to find out. But some other countries, like if you check that I am a student and you have some different domain that is attached to your school, we'll be able to search it out.
Absolutely. More questions? Let's wait that Coder 90 writes his question. So maybe we can go to the next next topic I had. So sometimes you create a model and your performance or accuracy are not great. We had a long discussion, I think, with last Monday in the US time zone or Pacific time zone about accuracy versus performance. But what are your ideas on? I'm going to share this link, but about how to improve the model performance here, because I guess that this is what most of the people who will apply for this model development track will push towards.
Jim, you want to cover that up?
Yeah, so I think that the key thing I would say about developing your model in Edge Impulse is you want to start with a small amount of data that you know, that you have good quality data for, and build your data set. So don't expect that you'll get 100% accuracy straight away, but you want to look at your data and go, okay, do I have enough data in this class or this class? Is there one that's not performing well? Can I add more data? Generally, most problems with accuracy are caused by data. Secondly, look at experimenting with different DSP. So in Edge Impulse, when you look at your processing block and you've generated your features, you get a feature explorer. And the feature explorer is kind of a dimensionless view of all of your data points in your project. And it's a really good way of getting an idea if there's a pattern in your data. So you see clusters for the different classes that you have. If you have good, strong clustering, you're going to have a good time training a model. So look at that data explorer. You can also generate it from the data acquisition window. There's one up at the top. That can be a really good indicator for the quality of your data set and also whether or not you've got the right signal processing algorithm or pre-processing block selected. Try playing around with different pre-processing blocks. Perhaps your data doesn't have any frequency component, so you don't want to use a spectral analysis block. You might want to use the flattened block. Or it's really simple data, so you might want to use the raw data block to pass straight through. And then finally, I always use, once I have a kind of good baseline for my model, I always try to use the Eon tuner to experiment with fine-tuning a few different parameters across the whole model. So the Eon tuner is a really useful tool for setting up like a parameter sweep across all of your impulse to try different things. The ones I always try are things like changing the window size, because the window size defines the context that your model is looking at. So for time series models, the window size can be really important in determining your accuracy. Same for resolution. You know, maybe you could try a bigger model or a bigger resolution or a smaller resolution. Trying different DSP blocks, trying different machine learning algorithms. You can set that all up in the Eon tuner so that you don't have to do each one of those individually and you can see all the results at once. That's a really powerful way of optimizing your model for either accuracy or performance on device or RAM usage or all three. So you can try each of those different things and see which one comes out best. Then you can add each of those, if you click the add button, back into your experiments view and play around with those different models in detail. So it's a really powerful tool. If you just click on the up at the top, we can have a look at what one of the search spaces looks like. If you click on new run there in the Eon tuner.
New run?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see if we scroll down that the search space is basically like a little JSON format of basically what your model architecture looks like. And you can add in new entries to each parameter. So there we can see we're trying a wide range of different input resolutions for the model to try different things. There's also some useful templates to get started. So if you click use template up at the top, for particular use cases like audio-based or vision-based, there are some examples there. Or you can use existing experiments that you've created already in the platform as a starting point. So those are two tips that I would have for really improving your model accuracy once you've kind of got that baseline. But it all starts out with good quality data. So really focus on making sure that your data set is really well labeled and is actually representative of the real world that you're trying to create the model for.
Thanks, Jim.
Can we?
Now we have a question from Coder90. Please, I want to download my dataset with labeling from Edge Impulse Studio. Only dataset got downloaded from the export button, but not with my label. How can I achieve that? So we have a format on the Edge Impulse Studio. So when you export, you will get something called info.labels. I'm surprised that this one is not provided with the download. Can you please check if this one is provided? And if it is, if you go to the documentation, you'll have an explanation of how this format is structured. So the info.labels is basically a JSON-like format. Feel free to open that up, and you will see like the different labels. On our documentation, we share like how this document is structured, so you can easily parse it to retrieve your data, your labels. I mean. Does this answer your question, Coder90?
Jim, super interesting. Sorry, super interesting explanation about the EON tuner. Actually, I haven't used it, so I will plan to run experiments here and yeah, learn more on how to improve.
It's a super powerful
things.
tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for advanced users, I don't know if there will be any people playing around with their own custom machine learning blocks, because I'm pretty sure we can do that in the developer tier these days. You can also add your custom blocks into an EON tuner run and sort of do hyperparameter sweeps with that. So if you're really advanced, then that's a really powerful tool I've used before to kind of get the extra edge out of something custom that I've built.
Okay. Oh, and you wanted to say something before we answer the question from Coder90.
Yeah, I just think that I can't share on the YouTube right now, but I shared a link in our private chat. Maybe you can share it to the group.
Yeah.
Owen, just a second. You're still muted on Discord. You need to unmute, otherwise like, people on Discord won't hear. Go ahead.
Go now. Okay. I hope the echo is okay now. Yeah, so I just wanted to share really quickly. There's a link here as well. Hopefully, you guys can share the model evaluation.
I can share. Yeah.
Yeah, we put this together because it's depending on what model you choose or what pathway you choose. Like Jim just demonstrated, you're going to get a series of metrics, and these are how you're going to evaluate the quality of your model. And you can just scroll down a little bit there, and we'll see that. We give you some helpful descriptions in this guide that will help you understand how well your how well your model is performing, and if you need more data as you improve your model. Because a lot of the time we get questions about more training time, or how can I improve my model. That's where that guide came in, about improving your model, and also about how to evaluate like what's going wrong in your model. Do you need more data? Have you got imbalanced classes? What metrics should you focus on? And then you can kind of iterate and start to improve your model yourself, rather than just throwing more training time and epochs at it. GPUs aren't always the answer. So hopefully, and actually I think this guide, we put this together last year. We'll probably go through some revisions of it as well as we add more metrics and as we add more architectures. Like FOMO has some specific guidelines that you should follow as well. So depending on the model that you choose, just make sure that you look at our documentation, see the evaluation metrics. If it's FOMO that you've chosen, see what the parameters are to be aware of. YOLO Pro example as well. And I think Jim probably has a better handle on YOLO Pro, ELM kind of metrics that you should focus on. Maybe that would be interesting to look at as well. But yeah, I just wanted to share those because they're kind of a lot of the common questions on the forum.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, so that was it really for me. I can give a quick demo of mobile Android if that's helpful for people, or if
yeah, we have a question from before that. Owen, so Ventoron, glad to see you here again. He says, I'm working on the Edge AI track. Apart from how the model is built, what is the judging criteria or like areas I could focus on to improve my project? I think you got like 5 cents on Monday, but I think it's good as well to get the point of view. So we probably are not gonna be the judges, Louis, Jim, Owen, or me, but it's good to see the point of view from all of them. So
Yeah.
what are your
So
point of view here?
on the Edge AI track, I think I'm expecting like to see like the improvements of the accuracy over time, or the size of the model will go down over time while keeping almost the same accuracy, and the documentation around it. So the why. So it's not only about just the model itself. It's all the explanation that is around. So either more accuracy while keeping the model small, or getting it even smaller.
And Jim?
I would.
Yeah.
I'd
I'm
be
not sure
keen
what has
to
been said on
see.
Monday. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I think just if you want to make your project really stand out, I would be looking at really high quality documentation as well, because obviously your use case itself will speak to a certain amount, but if you can really make it clear why you've chosen your model, why you've chosen your use case, and how you've done it, and then what maybe the next steps are beyond that. High quality documentation is always going to give you an edge in this sort of environment, because it makes your project a lot easier to read and understand and replicate, and that's a big part of this sort of hackathon, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely, and that it's reproducible, I think, as well. It's relevant, right? That
Sure.
we can all deploy it ourselves. That's a big plus. So your documentation is super clear. And Owen, what's your point of view here? So what do you think?
No, I totally agree. I think, make it clear, have a very clear example that you can share with the group. Like any of the documents that we write, the tutorials or the projects that we share, the ones that are very long and confusing are the ones that kind of get the negative feedback. So like if you make it very clear, you can show it. Architectural diagrams, if you were trying to showcase an application, show how it functions within it. Like we like if it could be a simple model that you're using, but you could be using it in a clever way to control something in a wider system if you want to do an application demo. Or if you have if you've noticed some kind of a gap that all of a sudden there's a fill for, like the Opta here. I'm just going to reference this one. PLCs are. This is one that I found really interesting to explore. The Opta. My first time really working with PLCs, found that we were able to run one of our models on a PLC, and industrial systems are notoriously hard to find networking access. They're very locked down systems. So being able to run a model on a separate board does not always mean that you're going to be able to connect the two systems together. But we were able to run the model internally on the Opta and pass within that system. And if you can describe the flow of data there, or if you can see a niche or a gap, or you can see something that you can solve with Edge AI, just be able to share and illustrate that properly in the documentation and architectural diagrams, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. So yeah, actually, Ventoran mentioned in the chat on Discord. So something like explaining the journey on how I improve the model every step and not just the final model I choose. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then as well, if you are applying for the Edge AI application as well, it's important to explain how this model basically interacts with your application to solve the problem that you're developing. What else? Yeah, something that I wanted to share is that we iterated so how to submit a project. So maybe we can get as well at this point. Let me share my screen there. So basically, we iterated the submission form a little bit since Monday. So basically, what we request for each of the tracks, it's a project title. Then you select the theme. You don't see it here, but if you click select the theme, you can see Edge AI application track or model development track. Then you add the project description that can be a summary of everything that you wrote on your GitHub repository or on your Edge Impulse project README file. We have the build with, but yeah, this is not mandatory, so you don't need it. If you have snapshots, you can upload them here. If you have a video, which is not mandatory, but it's really nice if you can record a video of yourself explaining your project and what yeah, Marcus, sorry, I got interrupt reading. Marcus Kelly, could you share the Discord invite, please? Yeah, sure. Give me 1 second and I will share it with you, the Discord invite. But yeah, or someone please can just get the Discord
we
invite.
can do that.
On the, thank you. Sorry for that. So yeah, video. If you can record a video, that could be fantastic, explaining why you do this project, what does it do, and how to reproduce it, and maybe explain intro stories of it. I'm sure it's going to be fun. And finally, so we would like to see the repository link in case that you are using a GitHub repository for your application or a Git repository or anything. If you are applying for a Edge AI application, I think it's very important that you share the repository link. And finally, we want that all the projects that you submit are public projects. So please add as well the Edge Impulse public project link here in the next one. And I think it looks simple. It's a bit of work, right? But I think this is it. You don't need to add anything else on the project. And as well, something that we mentioned on Monday that I think it's interesting is that we have this AI at the Edge book. I think it's still the first edition. We are writing the next edition of this, but it's a free book. I'm going to share the URL now. And I think it's a good. Okay, everyone has copies except me here. So I think it's one of the best books that you can have just to get ideas, learn about everything that we mentioned before. If you need to develop your own model, and yeah, start creating your first HAI projects, just to get inspired before you submit your project. Right? Do you agree with that?
Totally.
Yep.
I really recommend having a look at, there's a couple of chapters that'll be really useful for how you scope out this kind of project. One of them is chapter 7, how to build a data set. I think that's a key chapter to read if you're on the ML track, especially looking at kind of how to build a model from scratch. And then the first couple of chapters give a really nice overview of how to think about your problem and how to look at an idea you have in Edge AI and think of all of the different elements that you need to bring together, because an Edge AI project is a really complex system and it involves a lot of different skills. So you have to juggle, embedded skills, digital signal processing skills, data science skills, your own domain expertise. Owen was talking about working in PLCs there, and it's that's another example of kind of domain skills. And then finally, obviously, machine learning skills. So the book does a really good job of kind of giving you a high-level introduction to all of the different things you need to understand. And I really recommend, there's a free copy. Take advantage of that as a resource to learn with.
Absolutely. Ventura is asking. Yeah, just go ahead, Owen.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that as well, because obviously these hackathons that we all attend and we get to meet each other, they could go on to form projects or companies that you want to build yourself. And chapter 5 is really good for seeing how you build a team. And I think, any of the teams that are involved together on this hackathon should look at that as well. And you see how these skill sets are brought together and collaboration as well. Like no one person in our company does every single piece either. Like we've got a lot of specialized skills. And they're all showcased in the different blocks in the platform, or it's going to be a lot of collaboration and building knowledge with each other, especially in the teams, and I look forward to seeing what comes of this, because a lot of us got started in hackathons over the years as well, and they're so much fun.
Absolutely. So anyone knows what's the inspiration of the cover for the book?
Good question.
Is this a mountain goat or what is this?
It's an ibex.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1, 2.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's a mountain goat, is it not?
No, it's an ibex. They can climb along the edge of a cliff. Because we were joking that it was a goat before, but Dan was quite specific. He said it's a. If you look at it, should say the type of ibex it is.
With generic payments, I can change this.
Because,
Okay, Louis, can you mute yourself a bit, please? Okay, something else. So for people who needs a bit of inspiration, my recommendation as well. I'm not sure if you agree or not. Oops. But go to edgeimpulse.com/projects. Let me share as well the link, where you can find as well a lot of public projects just to get inspired, right?
I would personally go to docs.edgeimpulse.com/projects, which is our expert networks project area, which has all of the projects are really well documented, just like the sort of thing that I think we'd be expecting from submissions as well.
This one?
Yeah. If you click on the expert network there, then there's a whole list of example projects in different fields that are really full walkthroughs of how you build something from scratch, as well as having access to the full data set and project associated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, last week we were with David through all of these lists and we highlight some of them. Is there any one that we can highlight here that it's one of your favorites, Jim?
I'm a big fan of some of the audio and sensor projects there. I think computer vision is obviously a big area of kind of interest for people, but I'd be really interested to see whether we can get some time series stuff going that kind of is really novel, because that's a place where I'm quite interested to see.
So which one do you recommend for a time series, for example? I'm now...
I love the smart table tennis bat project. That's new. Down at the bottom of the screen there, I can see it's
smart table tennis bat.
I saw this. Yeah, it's a really cool project, and it's really nicely put together as well.
So let's read it together. Let me share again the link here. But do you want to share 1 minute?
Yeah, let me find it.
ELDR. No. If you want to explain what is it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So this is a really cool project from Samuel Alexander. I saw it the other day, and it's here. He's basically taken a small development board, the Arduino Nano 33 BLE Sense. It's a really cool board. It has a Nordic chip in it and a little bit of RAM. And he's added a small OLED screen, a small battery, and used the accelerometer within the board, mounted it all inside the handle of a table tennis bat, and has trained a model that's able to detect which type of bat stroke he's done. So you can see if it's forehand or backhand, and it prints out the metrics on a little screen. So you can see how long you're able to rally for, where your strengths and weaknesses are. Really interesting project, sort of thing that could be a real product actually, and is really nicely kind of packaged, so it looks really slick. I love that project. It's really cool.
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't see this, and it's super amazing. Yeah, and it can be something for pros. I really like this documentation, right? So problem exploration. No, you explain the why you're doing this. No, why this is important, and then current pain points, what's needed, project overview, key features, and why these tech stacks. So I think as well, it's really good not to actually discuss it yourself, why you choose an Arduino Nano instead of something else. I really like it, and then explain more. This is really cool and how it works, the performance, the dataset collection. Yeah, this is a clear example on how to document.
And even
really
a
nice.
Little app as well to do the data collection. I love that project. So well.
Very nice. If you
this is something that you mentioned actually, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can see here the feature explorer. So you can see there's really nice separation here between all of the different classes. And actually, this is a good example of one of the features in Edge Impulse, which makes it easier to kind of go back and improve your data set. You can see there's some green and red samples and purple samples that are in the wrong department. So you could click on each of those dots and see, oh, have I actually mislabeled a sample there? Or have I, is there a whole kind of class of forestroke or backstroke that I've not quite done correctly? You could go back and improve that data set and remove samples that are incorrectly labeled. And all of those little things, things that will massively improve your model. If you have a small data set and a small model, those incremental changes can be really powerful. So yeah, a really good feature there for helping improve your model.
Yeah, and if there's any of these parts that you're custom printing as well, please share them with us. So I'd love to add them to our Thingiverse group so others can benefit from your work. Or if you want to use some of the 3D printed things already, it's so cool to see this. So product design, if you've got a flair for design, you know, using a simple model in a unique way like this would be so cool to see.
Yeah, I'm sure the STLs are here somewhere. Very cool project. Thanks for pointing to it. More questions? Anyone has more questions? You have the last 5 minutes to ask them. What else? What else am I missing, guys? As a recommendation for...
Oh yeah, I shared a link there as well for if you want to go on the single board computers, the Linux side. I shared, I find these Python SDK examples are really good. There's ones for camera, microphone, also custom sensors. So you use the classify and collect here. So you can collect from, if you've got a Pi with a hat, with like the Sense hat or anything like that, or you've got a Linux-based board. I've even run this on some of the Rubik Pi and on the NVIDIA boards as well. Anything that's got that header, you're going to be able to get some sensor data in as well. If you're more familiar with the Linux side of things and you want to go down the Python route, there's an example right there to collect data from any sensor. You can dump it into your project and then you can do the classification on that as well. I love those examples actually to work with. If you're more familiar with Python.
I use this all the time, this Python SDK to build trade show demos. So I don't know if you guys have seen the slot car demo we've been showing at different trade shows, but it was built on top of the Python library here, working either on the Uno Q or the Rubik Pi. So yeah, it's definitely a powerful tool for kind of quickly building an impressive project.
Yeah, I ran like HRV on a Jetson with it, and you can the 3D printer one as well. Like this, yeah, just fork that repo and you can it's crazy. So I didn't realize that you'd use that for the slot car one, Jim.
Yeah, use it all the time.
Yeah, it's really well put together. The custom sensor one as well. You can just get everything in there. It's just so handy. Yeah, and being able to hook back into your project.
It's sad that I don't see any. So do we have the slot car demo anywhere documented in our website? Not really. Not yet.
I haven't done the write-up yet, unfortunately. Takes time.
I was trying to Google an image just to share it here now.
Oh, I tell you, what is there's a cool video actually. IP Exchange have just posted their video from the Things conference, and it's a really nice little video. I'll share the link for you to maybe pull it up.
Okay.
But it's a really nice video of the slot car demo. They've done some nice footage of it. So
nice.
That's worth sharing.
Let me edit here. Okay, yes. Let me share.
Yeah, there we go. That's the demo.
If you want to explain.
Yeah, so this demo basically showed off two different sides to Edge Impulse. So we had a single board computer, the Rubik Pi in this case, but we've also run it on the Uno Q, running this UI on the left-hand side that you can see, and a FOMO model tracking from above that was able to detect the cars with a camera over the top on the track and follow them around the track. And then I'd written some post-processing to do track timing. So every time an individual vehicle crossed the finish line, we treated that as one lap. And then we had a little race function that allowed you to race five or so laps and add yourself to a leaderboard. But then on the actual cars themselves, we have this little Arduino Nicola Sense ME with a battery that was doing on-device crash detection with an accelerometer on each of the cars and reporting that over Bluetooth back to the central single board computer. So we were able to kind of have the hybrid approach. So you have on-device sensors with ML directly on them, and then also an overhead camera that's doing kind of high-level car tracking. So it's a really nice example project that kind of showed off all of the kind of different facets of Edge Impulse. And it was a really fun one to build. So yeah, it'll probably be at a couple more shows next year if you guys happen to be in the area and want to come and see it and put down your best time. We've run a couple of competitions at shows. Yeah, we're about to start our race. So yeah, it was a really fun project, and yeah, really nice example of how you can combine multiple different devices with machine learning to make a really powerful system. So yeah.
That's very cool, and it's very fun actually to be with the community racing there.
Nice.
So what else? I don't see any more questions from anyone from Discord or YouTube or LinkedIn.
Maybe something that I can share as well for the one who will enter the model, not the model, but the AI application track.
Louis, you need to unmute on Discord.
Yes, there we are. I did not click the right button. Yeah, one thing that you should not hesitate to do when you're applying for the Edge AI application track is to use multiple models. So you can actually cascade different models. Here is just a quick example that I worked like some time ago. It has 3 steps. The first step is to detect like the cubes on the conveyor belts. Then it's to extract the cubes and then run a visual anomaly detection model. So in that case, you simplify, instead of having one big model that first detect the object and find the anomalies on each of those, you cut your bigger problem into smaller problems, and that's help as well on improving the complexity, or even simplifying the complexity of your project. So yeah, do not hesitate to build several models to achieve what you want.
It's often a lot easier to build 3 small models with simple use cases than it is to build one that can do all of them. So yeah, I totally agree. For replicating a project, this is also a good example. I think for this project, you not only had an example where it worked with a webcam, but you can also run it on a video stream. So that can be quite a useful tip if you have a project which is using data that is like impossible for someone to get at home. Providing a little video example feed that you could pass to the model to like test it out is a good way to show that someone else could try out the example.
So what you're suggesting here, if I understood well, is that you create just one project with an impulse with multiple blocks, processing blocks. That's correct, or you do multiple projects implemented in one application?
So you can go with a 2 approach. If you're planning to run this on a Linux board, usually it's easier to do one project per use case. We have a way to combine within our C++ SDK, like several impulses, but this is more like it requires some advanced technique in optimizing, like filling different buffers, etc. So I would suggest to go with different projects on Linux side. On the Linux side, you can also do something that is even more advanced: is use the embeddings of one project to pass that in the pre-processing block of another project to then simplify the whole process, but this is more complex to do. We've got some write-ups in our documentation.
Yeah, but happy to as well read, what participants do and why they do it, right? Reading their rationales on why they decided to do it this way or the other way, right?
Yeah.
Correct. I see a question from Gator Mark again. Like, in case we are like 2 students in a team, do we both possibly qualify for the student award individually? No, the student award will be applied per project.
Yeah.
For winning project.
Exactly. So we need to split the price. Yeah, the same than the award for any other prize, right? So it will need to be split by the teams who lead the project. Can one also submit more than one solution project, or it's one per team? That's a good question.
I can't remember what we decided, Mark.
Yeah, actually, I think it's so it's just 1 month. In 1 month, you cannot do more than 2 very high quality projects, to be honest. No? What do you think? It will be really weird to me that someone can do like a really, really high quality 2 Edge AI applications in 2 different use cases with very well trained models and very well documented. But I don't know.
And can a user apply to both the model track and the Edge AI application track? I can't remember if we decided that or not.
I don't think so, but I need to check with Hacker Earth this. Yeah, we need to check that. Having said that, yeah, if you have anyone who is submitting to more than one project, just let us know. And we are happy to evaluate as well this. I think we are good. We are, we've been here more than 1 hour. We still have Owen sharing more links to share here, but I think we can keep them for next week. Next week, we would like to focus on Edge AI applications. We would like to share amazing Edge AI applications for everyone to try to inspire you and try to answer questions, discuss what's the best programming language for Edge AI applications, right? I don't know if you want to bet for any language here, if it will be Rust or MacroPython or TinyGo or what. But we will keep this discussion for next week. Thanks for being here. Yeah, and see you if you are in the Pacific time zone. See you on Monday. If you are more on India, Asia, Europe, Africa time zones, see you on Wednesday. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great day.
If you have any questions, ask in the forums, ask on Discord. Bye.
Bye.